Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this. Hi, my name is Sierra, and this is Sierra Chat's podcast. And today I have a really special guest with me. I am so honored that he asked to be on this podcast to share a little bit of his story. Um, his name is Sharif. We first met in 2017 in Greece. So let's chat. Welcome
Yeah,
to the podcast, Sharif.
thank you.
I'm so glad we get to have this conversation and sit down. You live in Athens. I live here in the US. So the time difference is
Yeah, it's pretty big different.
crazy.
What
Yeah.
time is it there?
It's 8:38 a.m.
Okay, 8:38. So here is almost 4.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So I was
so
I was so happy when you reached out to say you would love to be on the podcast and share a little bit about your journey from where you were to where you are. And for people who don't know, do you just want to like share a little bit about um, who you are and where you came from, where you were born to where you are now? And then we can,
yeah, of course.
yeah.
So I'm Sharif and my last name is Ahmad Zai.
Uh,
Of,
just
of
going with
course.
Sharif.
Yeah. But most of the time they just call me Sharif.
Sharif,
I'm
okay.
just, yeah, I give you the full name.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Okay.
And yeah, I left home when I was 15
Okay.
and then start my other journey
Yeah.
to come to Europe. You
Yeah.
know, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy as a 15-year-old. I knew nobody to travel with.
Wait,
I
wait, wait.
just,
You traveled by yourself at 15.
yeah, I I don't know. I had no friends to travel with, and nobody were willing to go. And
Wow.
I mean, I had no reason to stay back home. So, and then I left home when I was a 15-year-old. I have faced many things on the way to Greece.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want anybody to face those kind of things. The thing that I faced, and
That's
it wasn't easy. To people, it's very easy to describe you. Oh yeah, this a refugee arrived from Turkey or Afghanistan. They have a few words to describe you with that, but nobody knows what we've been through.
no, no. So I met you in Greece in 2017 um, because I was helping with I-58, who
Yeah,
was working with
yeah, yeah,
Flora
yeah.
Relief, I guess.
I remember. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I can't believe.
Yeah. And like I met so many beautiful people and so many amazing people there. Um, and a lot of people like well, anyway, over here on my side, like in the US, it's like we talk about refugees and, oh, they came from Afghanistan and they made this
Yeah.
crazy journey, to get away
Yes.
from like their country to start a new life, right?
Yeah.
But we don't actually hear the story of how they got from where they were to where they are now because like you now today, okay, so just for instance, I met you in 2017. Today it's 2024. You're married, you live in Athens, you have like a beautiful wife, like your life is thriving. I would say thriving now, but it wasn't before. Like you went through some crazy, crazy dark moments, I'm sure.
Man, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put in words what I saw in life, and but
Mm.
yeah, I'm very thankful for God what He have done in my life and where I am today.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful, and yes, we all have these challenges in life and been through things, and it takes a lot of time for us to, for example, when it comes to relationship. Uh, it takes so much time to be with the right person,
Yeah.
So yeah, we think everybody's the right person for us, and yes,
Yeah.
but it's not true. God has one person for us, not not everybody we meet on the street. So yeah, God put a great woman in my life.
Uh,
And I also met her on Lesbos Island,
oh,
2016, when I was 16 years
oh,
old.
oh,
Yeah.
Sharif.
So it's a very interesting story.
Oh, do tell it. Do tell it.
Yeah. Yeah, she came. Her name is Elena. She came with her parents to just see what is happening on the island and just do volunteers for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. God have a plan for all of us. I didn't know what was happening, but I met her, and then
You didn't know it
I
was.
was like, yeah, I was like, hey, what's up? You know, I was translating at a Euroleaf info container, and I was building a tent for somebody, and then I came to the info container to get some ropes for the tent or zip tie to tie them. This was the only thing we had there. And then I met this girl. I was like, hey, what's up? I liked her eyes. I was like, oh,
Oh,
interesting. And then, you know, as a 16-year-old,
yes.
and then I was like, oh, what's up? I was like, what's your name? Elena. Oh, okay. What's how old are you? She said, I'm 18. I was like, oh, I'm also 18.
No.
I was, I wasn't 18.
No.
Yeah. And then later, the other translator told her that I'm not 18, I'm 16. And then, yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
everything went different way. But yeah, very interesting story.
I love that. That's great. That's great. So how long did you live like in Lesbos, like on the island of Lesbos? Were you
Um,
did you live
sorry.
did you live like in the refugee camp, like there in Middlini? Yeah, you did. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
You know, the only way in the refugee camp to survive was fighting.
There were some fights that broke out.
I'm not kidding. Every morning, we had to go to the food line to get breakfast to get breakfast, and there was no way to get breakfast until you get beat up. And it was a very tough life. It was a very tough life that, yeah, I don't know how people view it from outside, but when you go inside and if you live the way we lived, it was very tough. And they don't care you're a minor or adult, you get beat up. But for me, it was the only way to survive. Was like, you know what? I'm like, I got two hands, you got two hands, I have to survive too. I was like, well, you know better than me, I have to do something too. So yeah, it was a very interesting life.
That's crazy. I remember, so I was working with the vulnerable families, and then
In section C.
yeah, in section C, and then the minor boys was right next door. It's all different now. Like they have everything set up different, right? And I
Yeah.
remember, so I got to know like quite a few of the young kids there, like the young boys, such sweet guys. But I remember that there was this one 8-year-old boy, 8 or 9-year-old boy, who had gotten separated from his family somewhere on the way to Greece. So
What was his name? Muhammad?
I forget his name.
I think it was Muhammad.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
The little boy.
yeah, the little boy, and I'm like, I can't even imagine what he must be going through to like.
I met his family. His
Oh,
family was in Iran. They were divided on the way. They got stuck in Iran, and he made it to Turkey. And
you know if they ever got back together?
yeah, and you know how God works.
Yeah.
How he worked things out. Now, right now, they are in Germany. Like they living the life whatever they got to live, you know.
Oh my!
And I can't believe it.
You know what? That I'm gonna cry because I just remember like I would see him every single day, and there were some other like older boys who would like kind of try to protect him, and kind of take care of him. And I'm like,
I know.
I
It's
just
very sad.
I just prayed that this kid would be reunited with his family one day. And so that is, I love to hear that. That just made my day.
I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. I saw him here in Athens. We had an English class. That's how I met him. So we invite kids to the English class to teach them English because they were learning Greek. And we had this place. It's called Project. It's Project for Art and Well-Being.
Okay. Yeah.
It's here in Athens. It's still operating. And we were teaching English to kids, and we had a lot of students. a lot of Afghan students and some Syrians. They
Yeah.
were coming to learn English, and that's how I met him. He came to English class to learn English. I was like, "Hey, I know you." He's like, "Yes, I know you too." I'm like, and that was the same boy you're talking about. But he was living in a shelter here with the minor boys until his family took the responsibility, to
Yeah.
be guardian for him.
Yeah.
So they took him with them, and then they had the DNA test and those things, and it was, positive. And then right now they are together, and they
Oh,
live in Berlin right now.
that is am- that is
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
I Wow. That is,
it's very, people have strong stories.
yeah. But what about like what if I can ask you, like, how I know you said you had to like fight for your breakfast, but like what was your life like in Kabul? Like what was your life?
uh I gotta be honest, I had a good life,
Yeah.
but we all have up and downs in life, and
Yeah.
life it's not one way and straight. We
Mhm.
have waves. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very sad to, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, when I lost my family, and then I said I don't want to live here.
Okay.
So I
Oh,
lost my mom and sister and my brother in explosion, and I was like, I'm not interested to be here.
yeah.
But my life was in some ways, very tough. I Growing up without father was not easy. I lost my father when I was 4 years old. He was ambushed by the Taliban. He worked for the government, and he was a commander. But yeah, he was. I grew up absolutely with with no man in my family. I was the only person, and my mom and sister and my brother.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's, yeah. I don't know what else,
No,
how
no,
to put it in word, but.
that is,
And then when I grew up to understand, things, when I turned 15, and then the other thing took place in my life. I lost my mom and my sister and
I am
brother.
so sorry.
Uh, Sometimes I ask myself why I'm still alive, like how I survived. You know,
Yeah.
it's I'm not the only one have a strong story, or there's many people they're suffering. Everybody have their own story,
Yeah.
and everybody's story is powerful to them. But yeah, somehow I survived, and today I'm here, and it was God's plan and not mine. So I'm alive. I survived for a good reason, I
Yes,
think.
you did. Yes, you did.
And he knew what's next for me.
Yeah. It's
But
it's
yeah,
it's like, and I'm sure like in that situation, you making your way to Greece alone, as a 15-year-old boy. I mean, for you, like, I feel like at 15 for you, you were more mature than a lot of other 15-year-olds because you went through so much more. You experienced a lot more life than like some 15-year-olds. You know what I'm
I
saying?
grew. I was adult when I was 14.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I reached my 25th, when I was 14. So I grew up very fast when it comes to those things. But yeah, it's so much trauma too. It's very hard to deal with those things,
Yeah.
because on the way traveling was not easy,
Mhm.
and so many times we were robbed on the way and shot by the police in the border in Iran.
Mhm.
And we lost so many, like in the group we were traveling with people, and we lost like 26 people. And that was the time that I was like, you know I'm like, I don't know what to do. And yeah, it's just very hard.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it.
No, and like I can imagine, but like that doesn't even do justice to like what you actually went through because that's like insane. That is like
Yeah,
no human being should have to go through that. Um,
yeah.
but even I know the refugee camps, like I know, we did our I say we or like your relief or whoever, they did the best that they could to like house people. It's a lot better now. It's a lot better now, I think.
God knows, we see the picture on social media, but God knows what is happening inside.
Yes. one story I remember, and it like completely broke my heart, and like I could barely even function for the rest of the day. Me and another guy, we were taking census, you know, we were like counting all the people going from tent to tent. And again, this is 2017. Now it's different, and it's a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
It is what it is.
people changed.
Yeah.
Different people come visiting. Money organization got changed, but situation is there. It's still
Yeah.
the same.
No, it's not. It's yeah. So we opened up this one tent because it had rained. And like the tent had flooded a little bit, and there was this mother with her baby. She was like maybe 6, 7 months old, and the heart of the baby was on the outside. Like the baby was so sick. And there were like human feces like throughout like the path to walk. And I'm like, this is not okay.
And you saw the reality.
Yes.
People,
Yes.
it's, you know what was happening. Even you were there for I don't know how long, but you know what is happening. And the worst happened. That was nothing, but the worst was on the way, you know?
Yes.
So
from point A to point B, essentially. That I can't even fathom that.
yeah.
And I'm like,
2017 was a very tough year. Yeah, 2017, I remember, I will never forget it. Sometime when it bothers me, I wrote things down because of the Moria camp and what I saw. I thought I'm 16-year-old or 17-year-old, I will forget it when I go to 24, 25 or 30, but no, it bothers me every day. Yeah, I remember a Bangladeshi guy came to the tent, the info container, asking for blanket, and I couldn't do anything, but I was speaking their Urdu language. They were speaking Hindi, and I was speaking like some languages, you know, like a lot of languages.
Yeah.
Like Dari, Pashto, Hindi, English. And
okay, wait, how many languages do you know?
Well, by now I speak six languages because I'm learning German also. So, but yeah, and that time I was translating Hindi because he was speaking Hindi, and they are near to India, so they are not that far. And he came, asked, he was very sick, and he asked for blanket, and I translated to the volunteers. They said, "You have a blanket. That's it. We can give you only one blanket, no more." And he was like, he was shaking. You know, he's like, "I'm sick. I need one more. You know, I cannot survive." And we were like, I couldn't do anything. I still remember, and sometime I'm saying, I think, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I hope I'm forgiven because nothing was in my hand. I was just a refugee translator.
Yeah.
That's how I was named that moment. You know, oh, you just translate. That's all you can do. Nothing else. Don't say anything. And then when I was translating, the people were not getting help. I was just translating their words, but most of the time we were in trouble with the people. They were like, "Why you're there? You do nothing." I'm like, "It's not in my hand. I'm someone like you sleeping in the tent.
Yes.
I don't know how to survive, but I'm coming here to help each other."
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy left. He was so sad, and he left. And the next morning, 2017, I remember, I came. By that time, I was living with a family.
Yeah, I remember
because the camp was fire. Everything was gone, and there was nothing for me to live. So everybody left, and the winter came. So I came in the morning. Somebody was dead in the sleeping bag, and I was like, "What is this?" You know, and then when I found out, it was the same person asking for a blanket, and it was so cold that he just passed away at night. He was sick, and that's the thing that until today, I have seen many things, the same thing, worse than that, but similar story. You know, sometimes I just don't forgive myself. I'm like, I wish I could give him my blanket, but I didn't know what was gonna happen the next day.
Like you did.
So yeah,
and I remember that they had run out of like baby formula, blankets and diapers when I was there, and that was so.
But even we had like, if even the organization have blankets or those things, they don't give them in a one day or the next day. They just wait for the new arrivals.
Yeah.
So I don't know, in that situation, I don't know who to blame.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's so hard, but that is terrible. That is like
so yeah.
Wow.
So
you've been through some crazy things, but like, and things that people should never have to see and experience, you've experienced. So
I
how, like, so now you're living in Athens and you're a personal trainer, you box, you do all those things. How did, how,
I do my best to stay active.
yeah, yeah. Um, were you a boxer before you left?
Yep.
Yeah, you were.
Back I was, but and then I started traveling. Being in this camp, being in that camp, I had no opportunities, nothing.
Yeah,
No place to train, no place to eat, no place to shower, no place to sleep.
yeah,
I don't remember I slept in Moria camp for 3 hours. Every night there were people drunk, fighting, there was stabbing, there was just fires. When I left Moria camp, I think that was that was the time that God called me to leave the camp
yeah.
for a few months, because I think I would get crazy if I was gonna be there for 2 more months, because there was no sleep
I,
and the food, like, it was disgusting. Like,
yeah,
I don't think
sorry.
animals should be treated like that. I think animals are treated way better than the humans in the camp.
It's true.
But at the beginning 6 months when we arrived,
Mhm.
2016, yeah, 2016, we when I arrived, we were prisoner. We were not allowed to leave camp. We were in the box.
Yeah,
If you leave camp, you will be in the jail for you. The punishment was 6 months in the jail
yeah,
if you leave the camp. So we had no document, nothing. I remember buying food from the fence, like there was a small hole in the wall, whatever was it. I was giving my change to somebody to give me a sandwich, because there was nothing in the camp and there was fighting over the food. And I'm like, I don't want to get bloody just to get a cup of tea. I'm like, I don't want this.
yeah,
And then little by little, people protested. They broke the door, and then we were allowed to walk around, and we were scared. We were not, I mean, I was walking around, I was so scared because the local people were mad at us.
hmm.
So yeah, welcome to our life.
I remember, like, I was there about 2 weeks or something, and I remember texting my family, and I'm like, man, animals literally live better than what they live here.
I think that moment, sorry, when I was in the camp, I said, I wish I was something else. When I was watching these goats and sheep are walking around in the woods eating free grass, I was like, I want to be like them, but not this.
Because it literally, honestly, and not to like speak negatively about any organization, but you guys were like prisoners, because there was like this big fence, you didn't have your documents, you couldn't leave, and you had to stay kind of locked up, I should say, in these areas. And again, not to like talk negative about the organizations or anything, but like that, you were essentially prisoners, I would say, in a way,
Yeah, I mean, we got nothing against any organization, but the truth has to be said.
Yeah.
The truth has to be revealed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how life was. People came, took a picture, left. People came, took a picture, left. That's what they did.
Yes, yeah, it's true.
And I don't know, the support came, it's gone. Like, I translated for 3 years for free. So yeah, that's how life goes sometimes.
Honestly, like, I mean, I was only there for 4 or 5 weeks, I think, but then my sister went several times and was there for several months and stuff. I ended up joining a different organization, YWAM, and was a part of that for a few years. But I totally understand what you're saying. People come, take photos, you kind of like create a little bit of a relationship, and then they're gone, right? And I came back, and I was talking to some friends, and I said, I want to go back, but like, I don't think my heart can handle it, because of there's so much devastation and it's just not fair. But I'm like, I got close to some of these families and some of these young boys. Like, I had a relationship. I know we weren't supposed to like talk with them, but I was there and they were there, and you kind of, I mean, they didn't understand English. I didn't understand, but you can kind of create a, and I'm like, I became a small part of their life, and then I left. And I'm like,
it happened 1,000 times to me.
And I'm like,
everybody came, hi, hello, we care about you, we love you, and then the next day he's gone.
Yeah.
But it's because they want to show the care and the love, but to us it's different thing. A friendship is to us is like we are friend, but to the West, friendship is different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still think about everyone. Like I remember faces. I don't remember the names. Some of them friended me on Instagram, so I can kind of like see, where
Yeah, yeah,
some of them are in Germany, and I'm like so happy. Like I get to like actually see from a distance. But yeah, no, for you guys, I'm sure that was like so hard. And then you said you translated for 3 years and didn't get a cent. Like I think for myself, I think that's like really, that's honestly horrible. you're giving
it is
you're,
horrible,
you're
but what can you say?
exactly. You learned a language. You learned so many languages. We're
Yeah, I
here.
think.
That's that's crazy. I
Yeah,
I can't even imagine. So when did you get to Athens?
um, it was 2019.
2019. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I was on Lesbos, and then 2019 I moved out to Athens,
Okay. All right. So you've been
and it was very tough. It was very tough to move out. Like to be here is just no job, nothing. Like it was very tough life. I'm not kidding. Like, and some places when I was asking for job, they asked me if I have my diploma, and I
oh
just wasted whole life, no education, just being in refugee camps. That's it,
wow.
And so it was very. And then I understand the value of education,
Yeah.
that how important it was. But yeah, it was very tough to be here in the city, and first of all, it's very hard to find a job.
Yeah.
And still, if you want to work somewhere, you are working for 45 days for free. And then later, if after 45 days, if they like you, they might hire you, a trial. So you waste these 45 days paying for a coffee on for your own money, lunch, breakfast, public transportation, rent. So yeah, welcome.
That is
It's very tough.
yeah. Have you gotten a job then? Have you been
No,
able
I was like, I don't want to work somewhere for free trial. I don't want to work for 40 days for free.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand that. I understand that.
But yeah,
It's
and
crazy.
then I met, just met some nice people in life, and negative and positive. It's
Yeah.
part of life. But yeah, but I'm thankful for the people like friends who
Yeah.
supported me in some ways when I was down. But God provide always. I always trust in Him.
Yeah.
No human. I trust Him. He provide humans to
Yeah.
help me work. But I don't rely on people's support. I do my best to, you know, train people, work some places, teaching and those
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
But yeah, God provide always.
Amen. Amen. So when did you get married? What year did you get married?
April
April.
last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, so it's not even a year yet. Oh,
yeah. It's not a year yet, but so
congratulations.
in April it's gonna be a year.
Yes, it's coming up. It's coming up. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to, you say, so you talk about God. So are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you grow up Christian or no?
Well, I grew up with very religious families in
Okay.
neighborhood and country where I was, but it was no, I. It was tough for me to choose what to follow.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It's not because I came to Europe I chose Christianity. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't like that. I had this struggle when I was 14, 13 years old. I was struggling to find my way to what to believe,
Yeah.
because I live in a environment. People were praying 5 times, but they were still negative. People were. It doesn't matter 1,000 times a day you can pray, but your characters, it doesn't change. I'm
Yeah.
like, what kind of God do you follow? Because you're still acting the same.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, it was in that. From then, the things that impact on me, it was very different, and I had some struggles. But people didn't like me because I didn't follow what they were preaching back home. And but specifically, I'm not against any religion, anything, but and I think it was part of their preaching. That's why I didn't like to follow what the people follow back home. So
Yeah. Okay.
and then everybody have their personal choice what to follow. So I was like,
Yeah.
there will be something to follow, but back home we are. I don't know how to describe it because we were like, it's like our eyes are closed. We don't have the freedom to choose what to believe.
Okay.
Like there's one thing, if you believe it or not, that's it. If you don't believe, you get beaten to death. But if you, yeah, it's very tough. It's very tough that still people are going through some hardship right now. It makes me so sad that see Afghan girls and women and men right now suffering from the government that right now is operating. So it's very tough, and I'm not a big fan of it. I will never be a big fan of it because the most important person in my family was my father to me.
Yeah.
And I grew up without father's love, and I will never forgive these people who is operating right now, the ruling the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what language they speak.
Yeah.
It's about who ruled them, you know?
Yeah.
So language doesn't matter right now. But yeah, they took my dreams away, so I'm not a big fan of them.
Yeah, man.
And God will do something one day.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
But yeah, I grew up. I had this struggle with my family too. They were like, "Why you don't believe?" I said, "Why do you believe?" You know. And then my mom was pretty religious. Yeah, she was. She was not letting me to enter the house without praying. I was like, "Yes, I did," but I actually, God knows what I did.
Yeah.
You know, it was very religious lady, and I was like, "Mom, what's the point of those things? Like, what kind of life do we live? Like, we have no peace."
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, "Oh, the peace is promised in a different way." I'm like, "What? If I don't feel the peace right now, how I'm gonna? I don't know the ending."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I found my way to come to find the truth. That's it.
Yeah.
Anybody. It's very easy because it's very right now when I see these young kids and young adult,
Yeah.
they're lost. They're running away from the truth. You know, religion, believing in something, it doesn't grab you. It doesn't make you just a statue to be in the corner.
Yeah.
It helps you, to open up, to see the reality, to see what is happening and what had happened before. So there are millions of people believing in things. They're not crazy, so who I,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but the truth always reveal, and the way he work, he did it. He does it. He doing things in a different ways. Like he's opens in things here,
Yeah.
not over there.
Yeah.
Here and here. So that's what happened to me too.
Yeah. Come on.
I
think.
But yeah, I had struggles. I had my own, dark side, and
Yeah. Everyone did. Yeah.
yeah, but I prayed and I prayed. I was like, you know what, man? If you're real, show me something. If you're not, I'm not entering this building again.
Yeah.
But it didn't just happen. Look, God didn't say, okay, let me prove it to you. Come here. No, it took time.
Yeah.
It took time, and then I found my way. I was like, I think this is it.
Yeah.
It's the moment to just like, I'm like, but yeah, I'm very happy. No matter what I lost, what I faced, what happened, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't say that, but it doesn't affect me like it used to because I got healing in different ways. Because none of the doctors will give me a medicine to heal.
Yeah.
But the best doctor was above me.
Yes.
And that was. And today I'm living my life serving others. It's because of him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be sitting somewhere in the corner taking drugs. But I think if you follow him, the right direction, he have the right direction, not us.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's our Google map.
Yeah, he is our Google map. This is true. So do you have any plans? Like, I know you want to be a personal trainer. Like, what are like your goals now for like the future?
Oh my gosh.
Or even like now, even like right now. Because I know you're a personal trainer, you do boxing, you want to help other young kids.
I don't know. My dreams are very big. Even my cup says, work hard, dream big.
Oh yes, yes.
But yeah, my dream is to just have gosh, because I'm watching these families and young adults are going through a very hard time, no education,
Yeah.
no job, no place for them to stay, no good. There's no good community for them.
Mm.
It's very sad, and I feel like things are getting changed every day, but I don't see they change in a different way, not in a way to direct them to the right way. These young adults, but it takes them away in a way that sometimes I'm like, I wish they were back home. I think it would be better for them to be there, because here we say this organization is doing this organization is doing that, but in reality, the impact on them is very negative.
Yeah.
Yes, we see somebody smile and a good handshake, how are you, but that doesn't describe a good future for us. And
Yeah.
especially, I was once in their place,
Yeah.
and I'm no better than anybody. And it's not just one person, one nation to help. Like, well, we have a ministry. It's called Love Every Nation, and have
I see
also
your
a
shirt.
t-shirt,
Your shirt.
print out t-shirts, And let me show you. I made a I made like a boxing logo, like when we train the boys and do things. It's not because I want to get famous, but this is what, like, how I describe myself. Like the backside.
Love every nation. Athens, Greece. Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. That is very, very
You
well.
know, and then the front side.
Yes.
So my goal is to give a hand to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not a provider. God is the provider, but I can do my best to show what He have done in my life. And
Yeah. You
God
can.
doesn't care where you're from, what language you speak, what kind of document you carry. I think we all know it's pretty simple. All He cares about this.
Yeah.
He doesn't look at your face, what color you are,
Mm-hmm.
brown, white, green, yellow.
Yeah.
All He cares is the heart. He's like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, God is. It's not because He's my good friend. I'm from Afghanistan. No, it's because He knows what was inside.
Yes. Yes.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, my goal is to have a place, a building, a place for families one day that they can come and cook and stay if they have no housing. Because when I go outside, most of the time I translate for them or buy them food, or because people support and we take their support to bless them, because
Yeah.
that's what we do right now. And I see them in the winter. It's so cold. They have no blanket. They're sitting outside in the rain, in the snow, and in the summer. So yeah, I think when it comes to human rights, when we talk about human rights, there is no rights existed. There is no equality existed. So we just love to talk about it, fight over it, but come see the reality here.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's my goal, to have a place for them that they can take shower and go.
Yeah.
A class we have, thank God, a place we have, and we just need some volunteers to operate the place. I mean, it's still operating, but
Yeah.
we need more people to teach a language that the kids, the refugees are interested is English. Most of the time, they don't want to stay in Greece. They don't like to learn Greek.
Yeah.
Their dream is to learn English. That's it. And I think all we can do is to help them with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think my dream is to just have a place, and also to have a gym in the future for them that they can come
Yeah.
and just put their anger, aggression in the gym.
Yeah.
Lift some weight, leave whatever you're going through, give them a cup of tea and a smile, a bottle of water, and just say, what, you're blessed.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. And it's not because this was my goal like 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm still working on it, refreshing it, and God will provide the right people to work with.
Yeah. I believe that. And I'll be praying for that specifically for you. And
Thank you.
yes, for sure. For sure. Wow. Man, Sharif, your story is crazy, but I am so glad that like now, you know, you look back and you're like, man, I went through so much, but God was with me. Like you can look back and see God in your life, helping you,
Always. I will
pulling you
never deny it. No matter
right.
where I am, what is happening, I will always say He is with me and He will be with me. Because there was certain feeling, I will tell you something, when I was crossing the ocean coming from Turkey to
Yeah.
Greece, Lesbos.
Yeah.
I had this feeling that I will make it. And you know, believe it or not, people tell you different things on the news, but we have lost, there was 4 boats. We were the first boat made it. The other 3 is gone until today. And nobody tells you. I think people won't like what I'm saying, but it's up to them, not me. But yeah, and I still can't forget it.
No.
And it's very hard. It's very hard to get it out.
Mm.
But he was, you know, when we were coming, we had a plastic boat. We just pumped the boat. We put some air in it, and we got in. There was no boat. People think we coming in a star cruise or those things. No,
It's just like an
plastic boat, a
inflatable.
balloon. We put air in it.
Yeah.
The
Unbelievable.
first one we built exploded. The second one we made, we said, okay, let's trust God.
Yeah. Wow. That
Because there was no option for us. We couldn't stay in Turkey. I got deported from the border
okay.
2 times. The third time was my last time. They would send me back to Kabul. They didn't care about my age. I left home not because, you know, it was a paradise. I left home because I had struggle and I didn't want to be there. I lost my family. I had no reason to be there.
Yeah.
And there is nothing sweeter than family. So when you don't have your mom and sister on your side or parents, what are you doing there? Just find your way to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't know what will happen if I die or I make it, but let's see what happens. Just jump in. And we just got in, and it was midnight, 1 o'clock at night, or let's say in the morning.
Yeah.
And I still remember. I don't know. It was a what do you call it, dolphin with like the big fish. I don't know, whatever was it. So we were like, the boat is going and the water is coming to the boat, and I was like, oh no, I think we are going down. I didn't look to the water. Like I wasn't focused on water. I was focused on the light. The light were like very small, the island.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm getting there. Okay. I was like, okay. And then I see there is a white fish or something like swimming near us. And I'm like, I don't want to look. You know, I remember the scary movies. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like, I'm gone.
Man, but
yeah. And then, but until today, I never met the people that we were in the woods together, and I never saw them again.
Oh wow.
So life is tough. Yeah. Life is tough. People try to have a better life, and you can't travel with your document because you can't. And the only way for us was to travel, to put our life in a big risk. So like the option for death was here. Like, and staying alive was a very little chance, 10%. 90%, you don't know what's gonna happen. 10% maybe you make it.
Oh.
So imagine you gamble with life, you know, and it had happened a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't just Turkey border. It was in Iran. We got deported back to Afghanistan from Iran, and we were tortured by the military or the police in the border, and it was brutal. You know, like I will never forget it. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of Muslim these people, like what kind of Muslim they are. Like, I think you should help your brother or your neighbor, a Muslim country. But there was no Islam in their head. All they care about is like to torture you. And I'm like, what do you represent? When they took us to the jail, there was a mosque. He tried to go pray. And he came outside after the prayer. He beat me up because my leg was bleeding. I asked for bandage. I said, hey, excuse me, officer, can I have a bandage for my leg? He came out of the mosque and he wore his police boots are very hard. It has a metal in the front, right? Like above the toe. And
Yeah.
he said, what part of your body is bleeding? I opened my, I pulled my pants. I'm like, my ankle. He's like, oh, okay, come. I thought he will help me. And then he stepped on my leg and he started kicking the place where exactly the place was bleeding. And he started kicking the place that was bleeding. And the blood was coming and I was looking at him. He said, does it hurt? I looked at him. I'm like, no. And then from then I decided I will not believe what they believe.
Wow.
And it hurts because it makes me so sad when I see the brutality,
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm not the age you want to be. I was 15-year-old and he's like 35, 40 years old man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're twice of my age. I think you will have a little understanding. Or maybe you have your brother or son. I'm like, why? I'm like, what is this? Like, I have done nothing against you. I'm just traveling through the border or mountain. In 45 days, 44 days, I made it to Turkey. In the mountain, no water, no food, nothing. And it was very tough life. And I don't know how to share all of this on this small episode right now. What you're saying in 20 minutes. My life story is like 1 year, I can explain.
Yes. No, I hear that. Man, how did you survive? I just need to know.
I don't know how I survived either.
Just,
I'm confused too. I'm like, how did I did?
yeah.
I left home. I waited. I don't know how many pound in English is. And I mean, but I was 65 kilo. Like,
Okay.
pretty. I was like very, fit.
Yeah.
Like I came to Turkey. I was 48, 46 kilo. I looked like a monkey. I had, I was shaking. I was shaking. I didn't know how to walk. I'm not kidding.
That is
Because
insane.
And
Wow.
then people think a refugee comes. I'm not here to take anybody's job or anybody's house. I do my best to pay for what I'm getting, and it's like same as everybody else.
Yeah.
But people describe us very easy, and how I think people have strong stories. And I think I want to tell everybody that it's not the way you describe us.
Yeah.
Let us talk. Like, let us tell you what we've been through.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, but that's my story. You want to listen, I will share it with you. If you don't want to listen, thank you. If you want to listen, thank you.
Yeah. I'm so sad for everything that you had to go through or that you've went through, but I am so grateful for where you are now. And I'm so
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the man that you became. Like, you're like, honestly, we should be looking at you and say, oh my goodness, Sharif is like an amazing man, not only because of what you survived, but of how you overcame those obstacles. Yeah, you still have pains and hurts, but you can look back and say, I made it. And I'm grateful that all of those trials brought me and created me into the man that I am today.
Yep, and always in my head, people were like, crying or like fighting over documents and screaming, making like doing protest break in the jail. I mean, not in the jail, in Moria camp. It is a jail.
Yeah, essentially, it
But
was.
in my head, I said, there is a light. I'm like, I was like, I'm not worried. People were like, why are you so chill? I was like, what can you do? There's nothing I can do about it. I'm like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm like, I'm waiting. Whenever I arrive to that light, I will say I made it. But still, I'm, still working hard to get what I need, but it doesn't always go my way. Mm-hmm. But God timing is perfect. Just wait for his timing and he will give you what you need, Yeah. So, but now, my life, I'm married, living in Athens, doing ministry and serving others, and there's nothing better than serving others. Yeah. And I honestly, on Lesbos, I tried. I mean, I didn't have a good community, but it's okay. Community doesn't make you a good person always, Yeah. Community, yes, we like it. We are there together, but I don't want to name people, but I was so many times judged. And as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, you don't know everything, but we think we know everything. And I was one of them. But yes, in some ways, I was not welcome in places, but it's okay. That's life, you know. It's people's decision that how they make their decision. But in God's eyes, I was His favorite, you
Yeah.
know. And I knew that things will go my way always, but not today in the future. You know, yes, there is a light, there is a future, and I didn't give up. I was keep believing, trusting, you know, and reading His good, His word. You know, He refreshes. His word is alive. That's all I can say. I don't know how to
Yeah.
put everything in
Yeah.
word.
No, I hear you.
Just,
I hear you.
but yeah. And now I'm here. Let's see what's next.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where you go in like 5 years from now. I'm excited to see where you'll be at in life. And
Yes, let's
it's
see
gonna be
where I
amazing.
will be.
Yes. All
I
right.
hope. I hope. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me and chatting and just kind of sharing your story a little bit. Like it's so hard to hear, but like even in the bad times of your story, like there was always hope and
Yep.
yeah. So
Yeah. But it's my pleasure. And anytime.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day and stay blessed.
Thanks. Same to you.
Yes.
See you next time.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye.